It is very well known that there were a number of mutinies and rebellions against General Ziaur Rahman during all his tenure, and we have talked about them in detail. After so many rebellions and mutinies, there were a number of changes in top military leadership of Bangladesh Army. There was reshuffling and many generals were transferred to different places. Among them was Major General Manzoor. Major General Manzoor in past had very good relations with General Ziaur Rahman, but during this reshuffling he was transferred to Chittagong as GOC Chittagong. At that time he was not happy about this transfer, but later he served as GOC Chittagong for 3 years and 6 months. In 1981, it was the time for General Manzoor to report back to Dhaka because his tenure of 3 years was complete. At this time, once again, General Manzoor was not happy about his transfer to Dhaka, but there were some reasons behind it. This was the time that during his time in Chittagong, he had kind of built up his own empire, and he had started plotting against General Ziaur Rahman. In 1981, when General Ziaur Rahman was planning his visit to Chittagong, he sent a word to General Manzoor that he should not be the one among those who would be welcoming President on Chittagong airport. He should not attend his arrival. The excuse given was that President is making entirely a political visit and he doesn't want GOC Chittagong to get involved in that. It's a different story that the Chief of Air Staff, the Chief of Air Force and some other officials, they welcomed President in Chittagong, but General Manzoor, as he was told to stay away, so he was not there. Before the visit, Major General Muhabbat Jan Chaudhry, Director General of Forces Intelligence, repeatedly warned President General Ziaur Rahman to postpone his visit at least until 1st of June, and that was also the date General Manzoor was supposed to report back to Dhaka. National Security Intelligence also made similar kind of recommendations, but General Ziaur Rahman ignored them all. He also ignored DGFI's director's request on the eve of his departure that he should not at least spend night in Chittagong and he should return back to Dhaka on the same day. According to author, it seems that General Ziaur Rahman was confident that he can handle Manzoor, or maybe he did not consider General Manzoor as a threat to his life. But anyway, this was a major blunder by otherwise an overly suspicious and cautious president. It would cost him his life. Let's talk a little bit about General Manzoor. General Manzoor, as many other generals, was also in Pakistan Army initially. He even studied in a Pakistan Air Force school in Sargodha. Sargodha is the same city where I did my master's. Sargodha is also known as the city of falcons. Later he joined Pakistan Military Academy and he got commissioned in Pakistan Army. He was also sent to Defence Staff College, and during the Liberation War he was posted in Sialkot. Sialkot is a bordering city with India, so it was very easy for him. Like many other Bengali officers, he also escaped from there and then he took part in the Liberation War of Bangladesh and he fought against Pakistan Army. As I said earlier, General Manzoor was not happy about his transfer back to Dhaka. According to author, it's not sure that when the germs of rebellions began to sprout and he started meeting the like-minded people like Ziaur Rahman and Mehboob. They were also officers, senior officers in Bangladesh Army, and they were also his companion in the plotting against General Ziaur Rahman. They also recruited Major S.M. Khalid. He was brigade major of 69th Infantry Brigade. 4 of them, with General Manzoor's patronage, became the driving force of rebellion, which ultimately killed General Ziaur Rahman. They started campaigning to win over the young officers. They were also harping on the wrongdoings of General Ziaur Rahman and the army command in Dhaka. The first attempt to topple General Ziaur Rahman was made in 1980 during Bangladesh Army's passing out parade. General Ziaur Rahman, top military leadership of Bangladesh Army and number of other VIPs were expected to be present there. The plan was that General Manzoor would host a dinner for all the VIPs, including General Ziaur Rahman and the top military leadership, in East Bengal Regimental Center, where all of them would be arrested and dealt with. This plan required the support of 10th Bengal Regiment. By that time, they were posted in Chittagong hill tracts. So General Manzoor gave orders for them to report back to Chittagong by 18 December. These orders were refused by the brigade commander, Colonel Rashid, on the grounds that he cannot withdraw forces on a very short notice. So this plan couldn't work. Dinner was, however, arranged, and it was noticed that some of the officers, including the brigade major, were holding guns in presence of the president. When questioned, they said that they are doing it on the orders of General Manzoor, GOC Chittagong, because he thinks that there can be an attempt on president's life. According to author, General Ziaur Rahman was not amazed by this unforgivable breach of protocol and security. However, he allowed officers to return to dinner after depositing their guns in the armory. The final plot was made in May 1981. This was the time when General Manzoor was to report back to Dhaka, and the time when General Ziaur Rahman was given several warnings by several intelligence agencies to postpone his visit. As planned, General Ziaur Rahman arrived Chittagong. The Chief of Air Staff and several other officials welcomed him, received him on the airport, and then General Ziaur Rahman went to the circuit house Chittagong. General Manzoor was not there because he was told to stay away, so definitely he was not there. On the other side, he was planning a coup or making a plot against General Ziaur Rahman. General Ziaur Rahman arrived at the circuit house Chittagong. He had several political meetings there, and then since it was Friday, he went for the Friday prayer, and there he also met people. After the prayer, he has been talking to them, and afterwards he went back to circuit house. There again he had some political meetings in the evening, and later at night he called Khalda Zia, the wife of General Ziaur Rahman, and afterwards he went to his bedroom. Right at the same time, on the other side, General Manzoor and his companions, Mutiur Rahman, Mehboob, and several other officers, by now all of them have joined General Manzoor and the gang. So they were plotting that how would they carry out their operation. On the same day, Mutiur Rahman and Mehboob, who are also senior officers in Bangladesh Army, they summoned all officers of 11th and 28th Bengal Regiment. Many of them appeared. They took oath from them, and they told them that whatever they are doing for national interest, and that is for the country. And many of them did not know that they are going to kill Zia. Anyway, after the oath, all of them, they changed to uniform, took their arms, and then they left. And the similar kind of things were done in other units. The movement of large number of soldiers going outside the cantonment was largely unnoticed because of the night training exercises going on during the same time. Similar kind of things were being done when there was a military coup against Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Besides those exercises, there were also some security lapses we cannot exclude. The officer in charge of Army Security Unit, Captain Rafiq, was aware of General Manzoor and his people's unhappiness towards General Ziaur Rahman. He also anticipated that there can be some disturbance and trouble due to General Ziaur Rahman's presence in the city. But instead of personally keeping watch of everything, he sent his intelligence havaldar to the cantonment to observe the situation and to see if there is something extraordinary happening. That person returned after 4 hours and he reported all good. While in fact anyone keeping a proper watch would have noticed the unusual movement of soldiers arming themselves and getting ready for the strike. The plotters, they made 3 strike teams. They had a plan that one team would go ahead, and then after a signal, second team would strike. But still, even at this time, many of them were thinking that they are going to arrest General Ziaur Rahman. They are not going to kill him. Only the main plotters, General Manzoor, of course, he is the main. He's the mastermind of that plan, and besides that, there were few other who really knew it, that they are going to kill General Ziaur Rahman. So the first team, they entered the circuit house unchallenged. There were no guards. The guards were sitting inside, and the iron door, the main iron gate, was left open. So they entered unchallenged. Lieutenant Colonel Fazle Hussain, he fired a rocket on the circuit house to frighten the occupants there, and it was also a signal for the second strike team. The first one to die among the president's security team was a constable. Other 44 armed men on duty offered no resistance. Many of them ran away and hid themselves.